Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. Sorry we've started a little bit late today, just a few technical issues, but I'm excited to introduce my guest today, Lisa Christensen. She is a purpose-driven and quite visionary entrepreneur. I think you're going to really enjoy her insights, her story. I'm excited to share her knowledge with you guys today. Just a couple of things before I bring Lisa in to chat to you all. I as you know, have a mission at this platform to help 1 million people start a business of their own. We want to help people find their purpose in life and fulfill what they're meant to be doing with their lives. So we're here to help for free anyone that needs to get insight, advice, connections, knowledge, capital, whatever it is you might need to start your business or grow your existing business. We're here to help you. We have a few other things going on after today's podcast. On Monday, for example, we have Mark Tilbury joining us. He is one of the most popular people on TikTok with over 3 million followers. He gives absolutely fantastic advice on entrepreneurship, how to be financially savvy. He's got a couple of decades of knowledge under his belt as far as building wealth is concerned, but more importantly, making sure that you have time to do what you want to be doing. And he's joining us Monday. He's got so many insights that I think you guys are going to love. So that's on the goodluckpod.com. You'll be able to catch that Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I Love Radio, all the normal channels. So hopefully you can join Mark. Of course, we'll be on TikTok. Mark Tilbury's one of the most popular people on TikTok. So we'll absolutely be on TikTok broadcasting his insights on Monday. So I hope you guys can join us for that. We have on Saturday a video blog going out, which will be talking about work-life balance. I know this is a question we get asked a lot. What is work-life balance? How do you get it? It seems like a magical, mystical thing that everyone wants to obtain. So we'll discuss that a little bit on Saturday, 12 noon. That video blog will be dropping. We are recording a podcast on Thursday at the Belsize Community Library. We believe libraries are not part of the past, but absolutely part of the future. They're knowledge centers, not just where books sit. And we are supporting local libraries by broadcasting from them knowledge. So feel free to knock on the window, pop in, read the book, listen into the podcast, or just say hi. And if there's any library out there that needs our help, please feel free to let us know. So I will now bring Lisa on. And after Lisa, I'll just mention we have a fantastic entrepreneur called Emanuele. He's the founder of a firm called 1001, which is a very interesting name. And myself and Lisa, at the end of Lisa's podcast, will be helping him a little bit, listening to his story and seeing how we can share our knowledge with him. But it's not just Lisa and I hopefully that can help this entrepreneur. Hopefully you guys can too. So please stick around about half an hour. The entrepreneur Emanuele from 1001 will be joining us. Hopefully you guys can join in, contribute, and also help him succeed with his new business. So without further ado, let me bring on Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Simon. So nice to see you.
It's so wonderful to see you too. I love the background with the fireplace. Where are you?
Yeah, it's a proper fireside chat we're having.
It looks like one of those fake backgrounds, yet I feel like it's real.
It is very real, and I'm extremely lucky to be here at the moment. So
where are you?
Chester, Canada, Chester, Nova Scotia.
Right. Well, I mean, I've known you a long time. I'm a big fan, but maybe you could kindly let my audience know a little bit about who you are and what you do. Sure.
Thanks, Simon. And that's, means a great deal coming from you, because I also feel the same about you. So I moved to Hong Kong 23 years ago, and was in the golf industry doing marketing. And I really felt that while, I loved what I was doing, that there was just more that I was here to do. So I started a nonprofit organization in Hong Kong in 2000, and it was to clean up beaches. And that organization grew from a one-day single event with about 150 people cleaning up our favorite beach in Dai Long Wan to an organization that is year-round. We still run our Hong Kong Cleanup Challenge on the third Saturday in September every year. But we also now do bespoke corporate cleanups all over the world. And we also, do a lot of corporate education programs as well as school education programs. So it's grown into a year-long organization that is very purpose-driven and has done a lot of good.
Yeah, I'm very aware of it, and it's just amazing what you've managed to do. I mean, just for the audience to understand, you're cleaning up beaches, and the corporate side is interesting. You say corporate cleanup, it sounds like you're going in and fixing Enron, but I think what you mean, the corporates join you, right? They join you in the exercise of taking care of the environment, basically.
That's great, exactly. So we manage and create bespoke events for all kinds of companies. We've specifically worked with a lot of multinationals and companies that have want to create purpose within their organization.
Yeah, it's really amazing. What made you decide to do this? What was the motivation?
I guess the initial motivation was, personally, I love to hike. I love to explore nature and, just out enjoying Hong Kong's amazing country trails and beaches and seeing just how bad the trash issue was. So, it's just mountains and mountains of plastic washing up on Hong Kong's beaches. And I couldn't sit by and do nothing about it. So we just decided to set up a program that would enable staff to get involved as well, because I think there's a real need for this type of corporate staff engagement activities, bringing people together to do something meaningful and something purposeful within their organization.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of the time corporations are looking to motivate their staff around purpose. And so, as a company going out there and solving problems like cleaning up beaches, really, I can understand how it builds culture in the company, lifts people's spirit. They feel like they're making an impact. I mean, I lived in Thailand for a few years, and the beaches there, also, some of them are awful with the plastic issue. It must be. I think when you're thinking about solving a problem in one place like Hong Kong, like you have done, you must really want to take that all over the world because it's needed. That's for sure.
You're right. It's absolutely what I'm working on now is looking at other problems that exist in the sustainability space and looking for unique ways to solve them. Because I think really, that is more or less what having a purposeful business is. It's solving problems, something that you're passionate about personally, and that's something that is also, many more people around the world have identified that problem and want to find a way that they can contribute to solving it as well.
I think purpose is both a word not taught in schools when it should be, and an overused word in some cases too. And I was just thinking about like when purpose enters your life. And so when did the word purpose enter your life? How did you first become aware that purpose was so powerful?
Probably it would have been when I was fairly young, and it was something that my dad and I talked about a lot. And it is something that has really evolved over the years and changed with me. And, like the word responsibility, purpose was something that occurred to me in the beginning as maybe a bit heavy and a bit, just bringing a lot of, just pressure on me. Like, what is my purpose? Trying to figure it out. Is it strictly, focusing on environmental problems? And I've come over the years to evolve my understanding of what it is. And it continues to evolve, just, I guess, like everything in life. And, for me now, I'm like I mentioned to you before, I'm seeing that we all have the same purpose, or perhaps we do. I don't know if that's true or not. But what if, our greater purpose, our purpose of humanity is to just be here and to learn in the school of life. To grow and expand our consciousness and to learn to become, better humans and to, whatever purposeful business or project we're working on at the time being. And it really doesn't have to define us. It doesn't have to be about social or environmental good necessarily. It really is about, again, this inward journey into our own being and finding out how can we serve our highest good, our highest purpose.
Yeah. I think for me, when I left school at 15 and started a business, I just wanted to pay the bills. I just wanted to survive myself. And I know my parents or school never really talked to me about purpose. It was all capitalism was definitely discussed, and making money and success and what that looks like, but I think purpose that's one of the things that I don't want to gush too much, but I've always admired about you. You've known this word for decades. And I feel like, for listeners out there that want to build a purposeful business, I've just got a question on TikTok. What is a purposeful driven business? And then second is, how do you make a purpose-driven business sustainable? Because it always feels like when you put the word purpose in there, suddenly, it's like you say, an NGO, like you set up, it's a not-for-profit, and therefore, let's call it hard to sustain. What's your view on this?
Yeah, all of those points are so valid, and this is where that trust for in the universe or God or whatever you believe in is so important, because so many times I've thought, when times have been difficult, am I doing the right thing, and how can purpose sustain? But, it's so important to trust that when you do align passion and, whether it's people, the environment, and purpose with profit, when you're solving a problem that needs to be solved, it's going to be sustainable. There will be a way, there will be people that come in and support and help. And, again, it just surrendering to that truth, knowing that you're solving a problem, knowing that, what I've been doing is really, it's important, and just sticking and having determination and perseverance and reaching out, not being afraid to ask for help, it's essential. So I feel that, any business that is solving a problem will succeed if you put your, heart and mind to it and do the work.
And how do you see business model? I mean, they talk about things like big corporations and, certain structures. Is there any advice you've got for people that want to start a purpose-driven business where, purpose over profit is kind of, the way we guess where you think about these things nowadays, but how do you structure it? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's so many different ways to structure, and a lot of different countries have different ways and benefits. The organizations I've set up have all been social enterprises, and they're not nonprofits anymore. I am an entrepreneur, and I get excited by, solving problems. One of the new company that I'm setting up right now is our tagline. Actually, it's called P3, and it's aligning purpose with passion, and people, planet, and purpose. Sorry, it's new.
Yeah. People, purpose, and planet. I like it. And it's interesting, isn't it? This kind of line between, not for profit and a social enterprise. Again, for people to understand, how do you define the differences here? What would be the? I mean, there could be a technical difference, or I guess a spiritual one. But what is the difference?
Again, it does differ from country to country, but I suppose the main difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit is that you're making money, and in a social enterprise, you're typically putting the money that you make back into the organization, and or into programs that are going to do good for the world or for people.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's really what drives me, and that's kind of one of my greatest purposes.
I was chatting recently to one of the founders of Impact Hong Kong, who's doing a lot of stuff with homelessness, and he's talks about how there's almost a slight stigma to if you're taking a salary from the business, and his argument, and I think it's absolutely right. People that work in charitable businesses should actually be paid well, and why shouldn't they be? In fact, if you don't pay people well, certainly let's say your staff well, then you can't build a world-class team and really solve the problem. And so, but again, it seems a bit reverse to me. I think people working in big fancy corporations that don't have a purpose should be paid less than businesses that are trying to do some good, right?
It's very interesting, and to your point also, a lot of times when you say, oh yeah, I work in the environmental sector, or I'm working on sustainability issues, people instantly kind of think, oh, you must be in the nonprofit sector. It's just one of those things, so I suppose part of our job is to change that stigma and help evolve people.
Yeah, I mean, even with what I'm doing with the Purposeful Project, I find myself, explaining it in detail. Like, I don't take a salary personally from the platform, and everything we make above the salaries goes back into supporting people starting a business of their own and so on. But I do pay people that work in the organization properly, and so you really have to kind of dissect it, I find, for people to kind of grasp it. And not think it's a con, because there's a lot of skeptics out there too, isn't there?
That's true.
And I know a lot of people get put off working in social enterprises or investing in social enterprises because they feel like there's some, investment in social enterprises is a very interesting one. I don't know if you've actually got investment for any of your businesses, but that seems to be really hard for investors because I put money in, I want to support this cause, I love the platform and the business idea, but I'd be really nervous to take money out. And that is my business model. I put money into businesses and then I take money out. But if I'm suddenly taking millions of pounds, dollars, whatever, out of a platform that's very, purpose driven, that could be bad for me. And so they avoid investing altogether. What have you experienced that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I had a conversation with another guest that you had on your podcast, actually, another investor. And he said to me, Lisa, pull back on the giving, like just whoa. You just want to give, you want to help others. But, you need to make a profit first. You need to cover your own costs before you start giving so much, So I've had a lot of great advice over the years from investors and from, people in the business sector that have been able to guide us on our way. But yeah, it's definitely something that we're still working on. And this is also, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. You go ahead, Lisa, please.
Well, I was just going to say, how important it is to, especially in the phase that I'm in right now in growing my businesses, looking for partners and looking for investors that have, greater skill sets. One of the things I love about your new purpose project is, there's certain things that I'm, really great at, but I can get a business to only this far. And this is when then we need others to come in and say, like what you just said right there, for instance, as an investor, this is what I look for. And so, it's nobody can do everything. And, just bringing those right partners in, when you're at a stage of scaling and growing, is so important. People that are aligned maybe, with the same purpose or have the same values, but then can help one scale the business. Yeah.
So if people were listening and wanted to start a purposeful business, I didn't give you this sort of question in advance, so I don't want to make the question hard for you, but would there be 2 or 3 things that you'd say, you must think about these 2 or 3 things if you're going to set up a purposeful, focused business?
Yeah, I would say that, the number one thing is, what problem are you solving? It really, I think for any business to be successful, it has to be solving a problem. And then, that problem needs to be something that you are super passionate about. I feel like it's got to be aligned with your values as an entrepreneur, and just something that really is just, just really, really you're so passionate about, because then, it's never going to seem like you work. It's just always, and that's, I think, really important. I don't feel like I've worked. I feel like everything I do is just an extension of what I love. And And, I've been very fortunate to work with some incredible people as well. And, have a lot of fun with the people I work with as well. It's so important.
I think work is a misunderstood word, isn't it? Sometimes work has quite a negative connotation to it. Now, I work on this, or when I had just when my son was born, people were like, oh, it's a lot of work having a child. I'm like, a lot of joy as well. Like there's the word work seems to come into play so many times, almost like a negative thing. We're all working to retirement so that we don't have to work anymore. But the point you're making, which is, if it's purposeful, you'll never do a day's work in your life. I think it's the saying, right? But it's interesting as well.
Or you enjoy every single aspect of it, like you said. Exactly. Why does it have that? Yeah, that connotation. Totally.
Yeah. But I guess equally, though, I mean, every day is not fun. There's always moments, where you're fighting to, hire good people, or fighting to get a corporate on board to support you, and not every moment can be fun. I think that's sometimes the illusion of entrepreneurship on the other side, that somehow as soon as you're your own boss, life suddenly gets easy, right? But of course, it's the opposite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a lot of work, a lot of good work though. So yeah.
Yeah, back to your very good point. If it's got purpose, then you'll push through the pain, right? That's kind of it. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, and you, like me, I mean, we made it through SARS. Now we're going through another extremely difficult, unprecedented time, and it's probably the social enterprise and nonprofit sector, NGOs all over the world are struggling. We're being hurt.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but
cutting back, right? And then I can imagine doing a beach cleanup right now is as a corporate exercise is maybe sadly not priority for a lot of the corporations who are worried about social distancing and all sorts of things, right?
That's right. It's been a very tough year in that regard. But then again, when you're driven by purpose, it's just been like, okay, well, how do we flow with this? How do we pivot, right? And so it's actually been an incredible experience and opportunity for me to look at our business models and just be like, wow, okay, I see how flawed that is and how unresilient that is. So, it's so exciting right now for me to be looking for solutions and ways to become more digitally, advanced and savvy, and the people we're getting to work with now. I mean, this next phase of my business, understanding the whole, online world way better, and bringing our education and, looking at e-learning and virtual, and it's forcing me to look at how I do everything and improve it and work. And now it's also expanding our market, to all over the world. Here I am in Chester, Nova Scotia, and actually we are running a beach cleanup this coming Saturday in Hong Kong, which is awesome. But my team's there, I'm here, and so we're doing a little bit of on ground events with corporate still, but the majority of my efforts and time now is moving into the online and seeing how can we digitally pivot, and that's so exciting for me because I've just not had any experience in that before.
Yeah, I have the same feeling, by the way. I mean, in the last 6 months, I've learned so much about YouTube that it's exciting. But you have the traits that I absolutely love in entrepreneurs, which is this kind of like the optimistic view on these things sent to test us and make us stronger. And like you say, for those that are listening, don't know, SARS in Hong Kong in 2003 was probably coronavirus 1.0. It's been described as that. It was the original coronavirus strain that kind of went somewhat viral in Hong Kong for a short time. And, it caused major disruption in Hong Kong. Right? It was very scary. I remember my family, messaging me like, "Are you coming home? And death on the streets. Are you okay?" sort of thing. And then of course Hong Kong gets hit by the financial crisis, and now it's being hit again, not only with coronavirus but with the protests. So I always think if you can survive in Hong Kong, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world to operate in, through plus these crises, you could probably survive in any market. It's really tough.
Yeah.
You said something earlier I just want to pick up on before we I've got an entrepreneur joining us who we're going to try and help, you and I, so we're going to have a little listen to what he's up to and see how we can help him. But just before he joins us, You mentioned something earlier I think is really interesting to explore. I think my audience will find interesting. A lot of people do ask about purpose, and they ask about, you know, how to build purpose into their business, because sometimes people will say, well, my purpose is to make money, you know, like that. They misunderstand the framing of purpose a little bit. But a lot of people also, and you said it earlier, haven't found their purpose yet necessarily. And I had this, I didn't really know my purpose until I'd been through the experience of building businesses on my own, feeling lonely, finding it hard, not knowing what questions to ask. So, you know, I found my purpose by going through the pain of doing it on my own, and realized now I can bring value by helping people not go through that pain. But what about, you know, what do you think of people looking for their purpose? Any advice on that?
Yeah, I think, again, you know, I would say that, you know, purpose is less about one particular thing and more about the bigger purpose picture. So if we really just sit and think, you know, perhaps our purpose really is to just learn and expand our consciousness and do something that, you know, really aligns with our values and our passions and that makes us happy, you know. And so I think without putting too much pressure on ourselves to find out one specific project, or to be like, oh yeah, for the rest of my life I'm going to work in cleaning up oceans. It doesn't have to be that. You know, maybe our purpose is just here to be in the school of life, you know, just to be, even, you know, to really learn to, yeah, I think.
Oh, I like it. I like it. You're basically, I feel like you're saying to people, you know, breathe, you know, like breathe in, breathe out, enjoy the moment. You know, the purpose of life is multi-layered, I guess, as well, isn't it? You know, like be comfortable with who you are. I feel authentic. These words I like, you know, find out who you are. And then, you know, somewhere along the line, the next step of evolution can come to you, which is, oh, this is the problem that matters to me and I can go and solve it, right?
That's right. And, you know, if it is something that's going to, you know, help create positive change in one aspect or another, then, you know, that's probably why we're here. I don't know, maybe not, but I have this innate sense of, you know, when I tap into my intuition, I just feel that, you know, we're here to serve, to help, to grow, to learn, and, yeah, and to solve some of the world's problems.
Yeah, agree. I mean, I say to people looking for purpose, and you're not sure what your purpose is, go work with people that have found their purpose. It's totally infectious, you know. So people should come and work with you, and I think, you know, we can put we have put the links to your business down below. But you know, if you know, is there anything you need right now? If you're asking the audience out there, is there anything we can do to support you right now? I know, by the way, and I want to mention it, you're on a incredible charity cycling event, right? Would you want to talk about that a little bit as well?
Yeah, sure. We did that last week. We did a 100-kilometer ride for charity. It was called the Ride for Cancer, and we collectively, of a group, raised more than they ever raised before, which was so amazing, because people are saying in this day, you know, in 2020, it's very, very difficult for charities to raise money. But you know, collectively, all the riders, we raised over $1.3 million. So it was amazing. And our little team of 7 that was organized by my friend Bob Mussett, who sits on the board of the QE2 Health Sciences. He, you know, our team of 7 managed to raise over 25,000 Canadian dollars. And we all raced, you know, did the ride, which was 100 kilometers. So, you know, in addition to running purposeful businesses myself, you know, I also want to look for ways to help other businesses, you know, bring purpose into their organization, because it's not just about my businesses. It's about how can I also help other entrepreneurs, and how can I help other companies really build that purpose piece, and then help NGOs as well, you know, help other nonprofits. I find a great deal of joy comes to me through helping other nonprofits.
How do you go about helping corporates find purpose? Is there any tip? I mean, I just noticed Luke's joining. He's from KPMG, I know. So, you know, when organizations are trying to find a deeper purpose, is there any formula?
I don't know if there's a formula yet, but I am working on that. And we have worked with KPMG also in the past. In fact, my dad was a partner, incidentally, at KPMG in Hong Kong for many years. So, you know, one of the things is if a company wants to focus on sustainability and or employee well-being, you know, diversity, whatever their education, whatever they sort of have as parts of their social and environmental purpose, we can help them expand that and explore that and build a team and hopefully, you know, just help them really quantify the success they're going to be looking to do. Yeah.
What have you got coming up? I mean, you've just done this amazing bike ride. Where was the destination from and to, by the way? Tell my audience, where did you, 100 kilometers, where did you go?
We started in Halifax, Nova Scotia, on the east coast of Canada, and biked to Chester and back.
Okay. Why those locations? Any reason, or just because it's an easy bike, well, a safe bike ride? Why was it?
Well, it's a great route, beautiful coastal views in Nova Scotia. And, you know, I think the route did change. In previous years, it had been a A to B type bike route, which was from Mahone Bay to Halifax. And they did change it so to make it more COVID friendly and to help, you know, with the social distancing and that kind of thing.
Well, what's the future? What's your plans going forward? Anything you want to share?
Well, like I mentioned, I am setting up a consulting firm. And so the concept will be to help more companies and individuals to build purpose into their organizations. And I have a client right now that I'm working with, which is in the F&B industry. And, you know, again, it's just a wonderful story, a beautiful family run business. It's a restaurant business called Chester's Cafe. And I'm helping them to, you know, build more sustainability into their business and to, you know, just same things we've been talking about. How can we align people, planet, and purpose with profit?
I think there's an area, by the way, I think you're really onto something with this as well. I mean, again, you're onto something. You're such a visionary. But I think the purposeful stuff, what I've noticed with corporations, and this might surprise some of my audience that I say this, that a lot of the time, there's some, you know, really good people inside the corporations actually do want these companies to do more good. And that's been my experience with corporations. Then, you know, there's often an image that they're somehow evil, you know, the kind of Disney image of, you know, evil Mickey and, you know, evil Coca-Cola. And don't get me wrong, these companies definitely, due to their product types, sometimes have some serious issues. But what I've discovered, and I know you're tapping into this, is there's so many good people in these organizations that do want to make change. And these organizations have such power that if they do change their direction just slightly, they can have a huge impact on the environment.
That's
and so
right.
they often need someone like you just to guide them because they don't know how to go about making an impact and change. That's
right. And it's about the corporate culture as well. And really, you know, making sure people are happy and actually, you know, I did a talk at Goldman Sachs a little while ago, you know, and I'm saying, you know, not everybody has to leave corporate and, you know, start their own purposeful business. It's these companies really need purpose-driven individuals and that are happy within the business as well. And to bring that entrepreneurial mindset within the corporation is also very important. You know, so how companies, yeah.
I know. I mean, and I think if you can tap into the right people in corporations, they can also really power up your purposeful business. That's the other thing. I think I mean, a lot of people will pitch a business idea to me that they think is competing with a corporation that doesn't have purpose. But if you could install this as a partner with them, if your purpose is big enough, and you touched on it again earlier, I think, you know, if purpose is big enough, it doesn't really matter who solves the problem. You know, I'm sure if someone came along and said, you know what, I'm going to make sure all the beaches in Hong Kong are totally clean, you don't have to worry about it anymore, you'll be fine with it. You won't be like, oh no, that's my competition. You know, like, no, don't take my business model away. You'll go along and solve another problem. No,
totally. That was my vision from the very beginning is to, you know, run myself out of a job. And that's where also my, you know, forward thinking is not so much about cleaning up, because while that is one part of the solution, let's look upstream. How can we prevent this from happening in the first place is really where I'm interested most in now.
Yeah. And what, when it comes to, like, without getting too technical, the plastic in the ocean coming and falling up on the beach is, I'm sure some people are listening thinking, well, isn't it, you got to go to the source? Is just picking up the rubbish going to solve the problem? It just comes back the next day. What is it? What is the source? What is the problem there exactly?
Oh, it's complicated, Simon. It's so diverse, and it really depends on where we are. But really, the issue is in overproduction of single-use plastics. We really do need to look at better designs and better management. And this is where working with companies again is a big passion of mine. And you can't just say what that company is doing is wrong. We really need to find solutions and find ways of doing better. So and they need our help. They want our help in coming up with better solutions, but the solutions have to make sense financially. So we have to work all together, public, private, the community. All sectors need to come together, and I think again this is part of the greater purpose. Is we need more dialogue, we need more discussion, and stop the divide. We need to really come together and solve these problems together.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think there is, the organizations like Instinct Rebellion, there seems to be a movement towards disrupt the corporates, let's say, to force their hand. And then the other side, which personally I align myself more with, which is, collaborate. That these problems, because a lot of it is also consumer demand. If these companies, for example, if Coca-Cola suddenly stopped supplying Coca-Cola, there would be a real problem, consumer side of it, and there'd be a backlash on the environmental side, because people would see, that it's a negative that these environmentalists are stopping people having what they want on the consumer side, right? So you need that balancing act so that everyone can benefit, right? And I think that's sometimes what not realized by a lot of people.
Yeah, totally. It's so important. Collaboration and communication are the keys to really a purposeful business.
And if any corporations are listening, they can just contact you through the website link that we're putting on the broadcast.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Well, hopefully this broadcast will be around forever now, so we'll send it around the world. And those corporations and those people in those corporations that want to have a purposeful impact and want help to make that happen, then they should absolutely reach out to you. I'm telling anyone listening right now that if you want to make an impact in this world, getting Lisa and your team will make a huge difference. I know that. So, well, let's bring on an entrepreneur I've not met before who's going to share his story with us, and then see how we can help him. And I hopefully tech-wise will work. Let's see. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot, Simon, for sharing.
How are you?
Oh, really fine, really fine. How are you doing? How about you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Yeah, I've got my good friend here, Lisa. She's an entrepreneur, HQ'd in Hong Kong, purpose-driven entrepreneur, and she's here to help you as well today. So maybe you could start off by kindly telling.
I didn't expect such, a special treatment. So it's, how can I say, emotion.
You get two for the price of one, yeah. Well, maybe you could kindly tell the audience also listening a little bit about what you're doing, and then myself and the audience will try to help you.
Sure. So we started a social platform, which is called 1001, which is actually solving a problem which is key to university students and junior white collars. Basically, this kind of segment is struggling getting practical insights to ace the interviews of the job companies they try to enter. And to do so, they're trying to do basically two things. They apply for mentoring programs, but they're really tough to enter because there's academia criteria as an entry barrier. And most of the times they get stopped, or they try, to get help from LinkedIn. So they try to bluntly spam messages, but most of the times they get ignored. So actually we started 1001, which is an app in which there are buddies who are eager to help people ace the interview. So for example, if on Tuesday I'm gonna have a job interview for Amazon Luxembourg in the position of project management. There is a buddy from Amazon Luxembourg project management, which is helping me precisely on what I need. So I can book a call with him or her. So for example, I'm gonna share the app. So there will be a bad reflection. By the way, I don't know if you can't see, there are pictures, and you can book a call from here. And once you book a call, you can then request availability and send a message to them. Wow. And actually, we're really starting now, so it's a really early stage. We're having like 300 beta testers and really just 50 buddies. So it's really the beginning of the journey, but I really enjoyed, since it is such, how can I say, the dawn of something, I guess. We're also having like a activities page on which people are sharing posts or announcements for jobs, and a resource bank in which you can find interview questions released by the community and cover letters, CVs shared anonymously by people. So it's a place for knowledge sharing, in a world in which we tend to too much pile up connections rather than really contacting people, making maybe 4 or 5 really few meaningful bonds, which will be there for life, for example. And we started that because I was doing so, for example. So I was trying to, pile up connections on LinkedIn. But what actually another datum is saying is that still 48% of the jobs are taken by referral, which of course comes from an intimate relationship. So what was the purpose of, having 5,000 people who you didn't know, but actually you were still trying to get advice from 4 or 5 people from really the industry of interest, and plus 1001 is actually how can I say, building authenticity, because the guys who are giving help as we started are entry-level people, so they're not like mentors, and our users really feel they're close friends. So they have this kind of room of sincerity inside the call, so that sometimes people say my job sucks, and it's I don't advise you to do that, for example, even. So that's not how can I say, I've grown up in a university in which you always have like the HR manager or the director who comes there in their suit and tie, says we're the market leaders, working for us is the best you can do. And maybe you cannot be sincere to them because, of course, it's a matter of good or bad figure, for example. So this has been so far, how can I say, about building this kind of sincerity about what they ask you, how is life going in a company, how are the jobs evolving in that company, and so it's this kind of relationship.
So if anyone wants to check out the link, it's in the broadcast notes below, right? So it's all live now. I put it in the broadcast notes below. You don't need to look, don't worry.
Okay.
But the actual business, when I hear these ideas, what I always think is like, wow, how come this has not already been done? It's such a good idea, and why hasn't it already been done? Why LinkedIn should be doing it, and then maybe they'll buy you. But I just feel like LinkedIn are doing something interesting at the moment. I've noticed where they you can give people career advice, so they might ping you for career advice. I don't know if you've seen that feature, which is pretty interesting. But it totally makes sense that you get that kind of support that you're suggesting there. So how did you come up with this idea, and what can we do to help you? What's the next step?
Oh yeah. So how I answer the first question? Well, it's really a tough question. I guess many companies can do that, actually. I guess sometimes, by the way, you have a format and it's real difficult to, how can I say, bend it to something else. I guess LinkedIn is now doing really a lot of stuff after also they acquired Lynda, I guess, so they're really keen on services. So they may enter maybe this kind of thing. I'm still not sure. They should a little, I think, bend their value proposition, because they, it's really, I think, a social network which has, how can I say, a window, and it's so how people, the tone and manner is really different. How can I say? So sometimes it's trivial to say that, but I think it counts. To answer the second question, it's been, really a long trip, because we actually started with, we were studying in Shanghai, actually. So it's a long trip, also physically speaking, when I was living there. And we started from like a challenging based game. Then the business was really difficult to raise, because basically we were doing something which was, I challenge you, I get, for example, for example, a topic which is for interviews, I get some experience points, and then I can build like my CV. But it was really difficult to do. As a business model, it was really difficult to raise. Then we had this feature which was like on the site, which is the body feature, so guys helping you. It came out to be, the most successful feature. So we did, it's called zoom in pivot. So we put all the eggs on this kind of feature. Yeah, and right now, actually, the help that we're really needing, I think it's, and we're actually also applying for some acceleration program, is about mentorship and really still finding how to tune the engine for the business model, because we've been trying 2 or 3 business models so far. So first of all, we were trying to let people pay through a matter of quantity of calls. Okay, so after you did the first bonus call, then the second one, you would have paid, for example, 6 or 7 euros. Okay, so then we discovered that people were using our app just to talk to one buddy, because they really had in mind what they were expecting, so they never paid. So secondly, we tried to do some, more, how can I say, precise services. So CV building, cover letter building, assessment test preparation, all this kind of stuff made by a person. So we were saying, okay, we're gonna get a transaction fee from the service. So we set a price like 30 euros per call. Then we discovered, no student was really eager to pay that kind of price. So now we got to a business model, and then I will say something else, which is you use the app limitlessly. Then once a buddy accepts to have a call with you, you can do 2 things. You can either invite 2 friends, or actually you can become a full member, which means you pay 6.99 euros monthly. So it's like a spritz in Italy, and you can enjoy a full service. So this means you can contact anybody you want, and you can get calls from anybody you want. And this to close is that, because we're still trying to see whether really a B2C is actually feasible, because everybody's always telling me, don't let the users pay, just rely on the companies. Sometimes I don't know if you think it's right or wrong. By the way, it's like I always consider it as like a backdoor exit, the B2B. So it's something that it may stay there if the users, as a user base, gets bigger. What do you think? I don't know. It's that was a good point. Should I just concentrate on increasing the user base and then say, okay, now start the B2B, or should I try to iterate experiments on, for example, how can I extract from the B2C still?
Lisa, do you have any points? I have some views on it, but do you want to jump in if I don't do all the talking?
Yeah, you go first.
All right, okay, sure. Well, I mean, yeah, the B2B is always interesting. I always liked the LinkedIn revenue model plan. They went for 3 or 4 different ways to make money. As it happened, they all kind of worked, which is amazing. Because so often people say, focus on one source of income, right, and make that work or whatever. But I kind of like the idea of trying, and B2B makes a lot of sense. I mean, the model that jumps out at me that you haven't mentioned too much is this concept of something like Salesforce as a company sponsoring anyone looking for a sales job to get that sales job. Maybe it's sector specific. Yeah. My initial instinct is, but I love the idea that that Salesforce then helps you get that job by connecting you to people that can help you get that job, and then you feel loyal, not obligated. If I wouldn't make you obligated, but you'd feel loyal to Salesforce for helping you get what you needed to get the job in sales. And as you go up the ranks or are in the ranks, you have an influence over what software is used, and there's some good karma long term for that. There's something along those lines really interests me. Lisa, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking the exact same thing about sector by sector. Um, who are your clients right now? I have a couple questions.
Yeah, no, that's that's an interesting question. So so far it's been like a lot of associations, for example, for students who are giving services to their members, and they're like buying, for example, memberships for their associates. And we've been trying, and of course the students from some top tier schools have been so far who are paying the membership, but they're really little, and I still consider that we're on the way to really validate this kind of business model, because we're actually creating value, because people are thanking us, they're using the app, etc., etc. But it's really hard to say if that we're capturing value. So I totally agree on the headhunting, social headhunting. How can I say, so that you introduce people to companies, and you say, I can rely maybe to this person because he's been talking to a buddy, for example, and the buddy says, this guy is ready for this kind of position, and he may refer him, for example, if the company is looking for. And we're actually getting there, I think, to companies, because so far we've really been focusing on students, association of students, and this kind of world. Also because at first I thought, since we're still at early stages, as I was saying, that bringing in companies may, I don't know, a little bit, how can I say, may compromise the authenticity. Like people may end up, willing to, do a bit good figure or bad figure on the app, instead, being totally, how can I say, without companies on board. Could have been just a peer-to-peer feeling, maybe. So I also, at first I didn't, rely on companies, but the more I talk about it also with you, the more I feel, this add-on thing that you said, like Salesforce, I think could be really a way to add a new revenue stream, at least. So yeah.
Where are you based right now, and where are you getting the most students from?
Yeah, Italy. So I'm based actually in Latina, which is fun to say, because it's a kind of a small city, so south from Rome. I've studied in Rome, in Shanghai. Then when you start something on your own, then you get back to home. So it's a kind of once again at the origins. And students are coming basically from Italy, because we started with buddies who are giving help, were my close friends. Basically, we studied together. So from two schools in university in Italy. So as alumni, they were attracting, of course, the students from those universities, and so the customers are basically Italian. There are some customers abroad, but I think still the majority is Italian. And but yeah, if I can add something, actually, it's most of the times people also from Italy are willing to work abroad, and we have like Italian people based in, for example, Vienna or I don't know, Berlin. So they become like this kind of international. So we cannot say it's only Italian. So we would restrict too much, I guess.
So what are if you had a magic wand and you could create one thing that you're missing, what would that be right now?
Oh,
what do you need the most?
what I need the most? What I need the most? What I need the most? I think right now, as I can say, would be trust from a large user base, because I think it's tough to get to build really great trust. Also on apps, because on apps, it's people tend to be bored, and high churn rates are always really great fear. And unless you have a lot of reviews, unless you have a lot of social proof, when you start and you try to launch the app, people are not giving their debit cards if they don't trust the app, as not only as how can I say, a multi-million user app, but just in terms of culture. So if I had a magic wand, I would say I'd love to build immediately trust to a lot of people, and how can I say, spread the give back culture that we're given in our platform to a lot of people. That could be something that may increase the value of what we're given.
Yeah.
Where does the trust come into play exactly? Like people, you want people to trust you to help them get the job. So in other words, they have to admit that they're looking for a job within your system, and that's the problem? Or is it trust as in they believe your app can help them?
Well, when it comes to trust and success rate is always a kind of difficult, because sometimes trust is related to success rate, but many platforms, our competitors, like, I don't know, I may name some, they say, come to this with this body because you have 98% success rate, okay? But at the end of the day, if you see the success rate, what is made up of? Success rate is made up of getting only the best students, for example, from top tier schools, and try to train them to get those jobs. But of course, then I think the result of this kind of policy would be that you help only the people who wouldn't need help, I guess. Actually, if you accept instead that you may want to increase the user base and give help to more people, then you may also have to accept that you decrease the success rate. But I think as a KPI, this may not be the only one thing. I think the social proof from other people who are saying, I admit I need a job, and as you were saying, I am looking for one. I'd love to go find a buddy who is maybe already helped other people, and the review is great. So I think this is the kind of trust. So it's if we follow this kind of mission of helping the most people possible, the success rate is not the KPI, but actually the social proof of other people themselves is the KPI, I guess.
I like the distinction. I think the distinction of what is trust is quite important. When I love Lisa's question as well. It's a really good way of asking it. But I wonder with the trust piece if you can obtain it by the people giving the advice, sharing their experience, and that experience is what creates trust. Because if I see that, if you can make them your ambassadors, I'm actually, I don't think you can ever base trust on success, because there's a lot of moving parts, right? COVID is an example. You might have the best advice and the best platform, that person can still not get a job because there are no jobs. You can't base it purely on the outcome. You've got, I think, to base it purely on the service.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
So making the people that are giving their time your ambassadors, and then them highlighting what they offer, and I think that you need to curate that, of course, but I think that could build trust quite quickly.
Oh yeah, I hope definitely. Yeah, I think it needs time, of course, as always. Building trust is not a matter of overnight thing which comes out, but yeah, I would do that. And if there was no COVID, actually we would have organized events or something, but still we're trying to have some call groups, weekly meetings also, to do that. Leverage LinkedIn a lot, and making out the most sincere parts of people, telling maybe mistakes that they did. So also the buddies were giving advice, they should try maybe to tell all the things they got wrong, because it will be 4001 for them. It was maybe a little bit tougher. So this could be another thing for building trust. Yeah.
I love this business model. I think it's a really great idea. And like Simon says, it's hard to believe that no one else has done it, and already. But on that note, has anybody else tried to do it, or is anybody else doing something similar? Do you have any competitors at all?
Yeah. As Simon says, actually, it's the competition is really tough in this case, because we're actually building. I always say that we're building nothing novel. I'm always saying we're resizing the market, because it's always a matter of resizing the market.
Okay.
What is changing is always the way you're doing it. So I always pick, for example, as our main competitors, all the mentoring programs, as I was saying at the beginning, so like Sharp, Mentors for You, or others. And on the other side, other platforms like Prep Lounge, Wall Street Oasis. And then at the same time, you always have to mention some potential entrants like, LinkedIn, Tutored, Daily Internship, or you name it. That's really tough competition. Every time I like sketch a 2x2, positioning map, I always say on the x-axis there's the number of industries covered. Okay, so for example, Prep Lounge is really keen on consulting only, and that's great. You find coaches advising you for 359 euros per hour, so which is crazy for a student, but some people are paying that. On the other side, there's the accessibility. So the accessibility means, how easy it is to get in touch with buddies, and the mentoring programs and other platforms are actually missing accessibility because they're trying, for the success rate reason, to put a lot of entry barriers there, and they say, okay, we're just getting the most motivated people, the top tier school people, so that we can get sure that we make them enter the companies. So the accessibility is ruined there. Then there's this in-between piece in which there's LinkedIn and other places in which people, of course, are potentially available, but actually they're not there to help. So most of the times you send 100 messages to get 5. And on 1001, this will never happen. Because people are there to do so, to help. So we're actually resizing a market, which is the anytime that I mention the total addressable market and the serviceable addressable market, I always say we're starting from the 46 million millennials on LinkedIn, because they already show the willingness to be there on social, contacting others.
Yes.
Then I shrink it because we then get only the helpful people and the active people, basically. And actually, we're starting from the entry level. So it's a matter of, I think, there's a lot of competition, really a lot of competition, but that's a matter of how you tackle the competitive attributes that are important to the service, and how, of course, the tone and manner that the social life is based on. So that these are the things. So top right corner in accessibility and industries covered. So we're having consulting, banking, luxury, innovation and tech, whatever. Given limitlessly to people.
I just have to tell you, we're live on multiple platforms at the moment. But I'm live on TikTok right now, and I've got 427 people. You've got a lot of love going from TikTok right now. People are asking about this. So TikTok, I'm looking at all the different platforms right now. The one you're getting the most love on is TikTok. Probably a good platform to go on and offer your help. The young folks looking for jobs, needing help. There's a big market there for you.
I was just going to say the same. And what about in this shifting environment during COVID right now, with people also not looking to big corporates to go and starting their own purpose-driven projects? What about really tapping into that market?
And
in the working and marketing your services to startups, to individuals, to entrepreneurs, to
Well, add to that, Lisa, I just want to say what Lisa's saying is really. I was thinking exactly the same thing. It's weird. I was thinking that you could take some interesting additional elements. You could take this app and make it an app that helps people connect to entrepreneurs and get training to start a business of your own. Don't get a job. Get help and guidance to do that, which is kind of what I'm doing. To that. And then I was also thinking.
Simon, come on.
Yeah. Totally, but I was also thinking with what Lisa's doing, there's another element to it, which is I think a lot of people want to work for companies' purpose, but how do you connect what is a company's purpose, which ones have got purpose, and which ones have got a purpose that you like with an available position? If you could connect out those dots, I think, so maybe work with Lisa on purpose and work with me on entrepreneurs. I actually think there's a real interesting couple of silos you could go down. That would bring purpose into corporations, because they bring people that care about purpose into their organizations. And equally, I think, for me, my whole thing is that I think people can't wait for a job anymore, because there might not be one. Even if you're talented and get all the support in the world, there still might not be a job for you. So why not just start something of your own?
Yeah. That's really an interesting topic. Thanks a lot. There are papers who actually, of course, you know better than me, that correlates the crisis with the higher number of entrepreneurs because of this. So that's definitely the moment to do so. And in fact, we're starting alliance of bodies who started a startup to give help to people who are willing to do so. But I also have to say that it's kind of true that companies are hiring less, but it's also true that the information asymmetry has risen, and people are more needing actually help from others. So what we saw is that there's been also something good in this COVID crisis, is that video conferences marketing has boomed, of course. So people are more eager to get in touch in this way. First of all, secondly, the slots may be less, the competition is more fierce, and actually the information asymmetry is higher. So I need more to ask a buddy about this job. On the side of that, I totally agree with you, and I really think we're starting the startup suggestion, because it's I would go this way, for example, as you said. I would try definitely to. If I was starting just yesterday, I would try to find this kind of help. So you're touching a great point, guys. I think it's I have to implement it, and we're doing it.
Well, we've been over an hour, so I know that people tend to only listen to these things either later or now for about an hour. So we should probably. Lisa, any final words before we go?
Well, Simon, thank you so much for having me, and Emanuele, it's so nice meeting
you. Guys.
Wish you all the best. Please feel free to reach out and have any more ideation. Just continue living your purpose, guys, and continue to exploring what that looks like and what that is, and to flow and evolve, and just continue to expand that mind.
Thanks a lot, really.
Thank you, Lisa, for being such an inspiration. Emanuele, any final words before we close?
Well, a question, and first of all, thanks a lot, guys, because it's always great to talk out loud, because there are some times in which you try to start your business and you feel really lonely, and you don't realize that talking out loud makes you in the position of forcing you to reason strictly on things, and also saying, okay, this is bullshit and this is good. So first of all, thanks for this call. And secondly, there was a question. So if you were me tomorrow morning, what would you focus on? On these things that we said. But that's maybe that's too long question. Sorry, I don't know. I had it in mind.
Well, I think it depends on. My quick answer would be, it depends on what your skill set is. I mean, if I was you, because I know how to talk to corporations, I will get on the phone to Salesforce and I would get them to sponsor a silo. And I would then, have a corporate partner backing my costs. It means I don't need to sell equity to an investor. It means I can at least pay my bills. And I work with them and their database to help people get sales jobs. And once you've got that silo kind of cracked, you can then go and sell the other silos to other partners, and they're going to fund your growth. And if they get really excited about it, they might even invest and make you part of their platform. And then your purpose will get accelerated, and you won't have to worry about the financial side. But I say all of that because my background is corporate, getting corporate deals done. So I kind of know how it works. But it depends on what your skill set is, which is what, by the way, Emanuele?
Well, that's I'm quite young, so just graduated in actually management. So it's when you do something of everything and you don't know anything, so it's like the general hybrid stuff. So I would say I should be a little bit more into companies. Maybe it's been a mistake not to concentrate on that earlier. So, and in this call, I think asking listening to myself, I realized that I think it was a mistake not to focus on companies earlier. Maybe customers are great because they're a source of understanding, but when it comes to the bottom line, I think companies are always a great source of value. Yeah, let's say that. So
Lisa,
thanks.
what would you suggest Emanuele does tomorrow morning if you were him?
Yeah, I would probably pick up the phone and also call a corporate partner.
Yeah,
and it may not be in the same, it may not be Salesforce. It may be someone that is also, just really aligned with your business. It may be what about a headhunting firm?
Yeah.
Or LinkedIn, or actually working together with someone. Collaboration, again, is I think it's the future of business.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. Add to what Lisa's saying there, by the way, because I feel like, Emanuele, I might be guessing what you're thinking. Oh, I speak to LinkedIn, they might copy my idea. You know how far away these people are from being able to copy ideas? But I don't know what you think when you hear it, but I think Lisa's right. What do you think? Do you think LinkedIn will copy your idea if they hear it?
I think it's always overestimated how people are into copying others.
I agree.
I actually, and that's been kind of studied also. I definitely think, by the way, that our idea is easily copyable. So I'm not, hiding myself. I think a lot of people can copy it and do that. Also because we're in a software industry where nothing can be paid in, basically, to date. So that's another point.
It'll be about execution, doing it better, and finding your niche, right?
Yeah, I definitely think once you have trust, once you have user base, once you have social proof, once you set the trend, then you can get there. I think. But yeah, I think we're exposed to this peril. I'm not saying we can defend us, saying trivial things. I think we really risk on this side.
Well, I can introduce you to someone who runs LinkedIn for Asia. So, and they're very friendly and kind, and I think they might be able to at least advise you. So, ironically, I can connect you to an advisor that might be able to advise you on it. They say they run LinkedIn for Asia, so I can try and help you there. Just you need to be a little bit prepared because I don't want to waste their time. But yeah, I'm sure Lisa will also have people who can help, and anyone listening, if you can help Emanuele, maybe make some connections, just please reach out. But we better go, guys, otherwise we're going to overrun, and no one will listen to this later because they'll look at it and say, oh my God, it's an hour and 15 minutes and I could be watching a Netflix series instead. So we have to compete with Netflix. But thanks so much for joining, both of you. Thanks, Emanuele, for sharing your story.
Thank you, guys.
We're here for you if you need help. And Lisa, always an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Likewise, Simon. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Simon. Really.
Entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. I love it.
Oh, yeah, pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. So that's it, guys. That's our show today. I hope you found it interesting. I would really appreciate it if you found what Lisa had to say, what Lisa's up to, or Emanuele's doing interesting, useful, insightful, anything related to what they said today at all useful. I would be so grateful if you click their links below, at least gave them a like on their social pages. That would mean the world to them and to me. It wouldn't cost you $1. But if you want to go a step further and support what Lisa's doing with her various charitable activities, or you want to go and help Emanuele with his business and make it happen, maybe you want to be a mentor, a supporter, or perhaps you're a corporate listening and thinking, you know what, we want to help make that business happen because it will make our business better. So I would really be grateful if you click the links below, went and said hello to these folks, gave them some love, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you personally. If there's anything you need, if you want to come on the show, then please go through simonscript.com and contact us there. And we'll absolutely reply to everybody that messages us and see if we can bring you on the show and see if you can bring not only value to our audience, but perhaps also come on the show and get some help from our audience. We're here to help 1 million people start a business of their own. We've helped 42 people so far. It's the beginning of something great, we hope. In addition, we believe we've helped thousands of people grow their existing businesses. So that's our mission, and we do it all for free. So if you need anything, please let us know. If you think our mission resonates with you and you think people out there could find it useful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the share button, share the link on whatever channel you're listening to today, what this platform is all about, because perhaps someone out there right now needs some help. So thanks guys for listening. I appreciate it. We'll see you on Saturday for our discussion on work-life balance. And then on Monday with Mark Tilbury, one of the most popular people on TikTok with over 3 million followers. He'll be online sharing his insights, how he became so popular on TikTok and what he thinks about business and life in general. So look forward to seeing you on Saturday and Monday, and of course, live next Wednesday. Thank you so much, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you when you're listening to this broadcast. We'll see you soon.